Hare Krishna, Prabhu and Mataji's Dandavat Pranam. Welcome you all for our Friday session. Thank you so much for joining. Today we are very fortunate to have with us His Grace Purushottam Prabhu from ISKCON Chaupati Temple. Prabhu is going to join in another 15-20 minutes. Mostly by 15-20 minutes, Prabhu will join. Meantime, we will have the Kirtan. So request His Grace Madan Mohan Prabhu and team to join the Kirtan. Start the Kirtan. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare
सब ठीक है।
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Madanamohan Prabhu, Sri Pradha Mataji and Loknath. Thank you so much for your wonderful kirtan. Thank you. So now, today we are very fortunate to have with us His Grace Purushottam Prabhu from ISKCON Chapati Temple. Welcome, Prabhu. His Grace Purushottam Prabhu is a doctor by profession. He came into Krishna consciousness in the year 1995 and got initiated by His Holiness Radhana Swami Maharaj in the year 2001. After completing his graduation in 2004, Prabhu decided to dedicate his life in the mission of Srila Prabhupada at Radha Gopinath Temple, Chowpatty from 2005. Prabhu has been handling many departments parallelly in the temple. Prabhu has been a food safety team leader and responsible for ISO 22000 certification of the kitchen. He is also taking care of deity department, heading the deity dress department, where different fashion designers work under his guidance in the making of gorgeous outfits for a lordship and festival decoration services. He took care of Vaishnava Training Academy from 2006 to 2015. Prabhu is also offering hospitality and care to the new guests and donors and visit various colleges in Mumbai, inspiring the youth in taking up Krishna consciousness. You all know that Prabhu is well known for his melodious kirtan and he travels internationally for preaching. And we also witnessed personally in our congregation, always as and when Prabhu visit Shamadesh, Shiva Sankan, definitely Prabhu used to visit Gaurangadesh also. So welcome, Purushottam Prabhu. Thank you so much for joining with us. His Grace Purushottam Prabhu ki jai. His Holiness Radhana Swami Maharaj ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Thank you, Prabhuji,
Hare
for
Krishna,
joining
am
us.
I audible, Prabhu? Am
Thank
I
you, Prabhu.
audible? Am I audible, Prabhu?
Not much, Prabhu.
Haripol, am I audible now?
Not completely.
I can hear clearly, Prabhu. Audible now?
No, it is breaking actually.
Okay, just a minute.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Am I audible now, Prabhu?
Yeah, but there is no light. Yes. Can you speak, Prabhuji?
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Now a little better.
Haripol,
Yes, Prabhu. Now it is okay.
I'm so sorry. Probably there could be some internet connectivity issue.
Okay.
Please pardon me if I get no, if I probably have to leave the meeting and then again join in. I'm really sorry for this. but kindly do tolerate me for this. I'm very, very grateful to each and every one of you for being here this evening. And special thanks to Sri Ranga Krishna Prabhu and Gopi Mangeet Mataji for inviting me this evening, Friday evening, for for this Srimad Bhagavatam class. Very, very grateful to each and every one of you also. Uh, I I do recollect those days when I used to visit Gisa's Gauranga Desh, and so many wonderful devotees would be there to uh, uh, for their Friday program, and it was such a lively and such an inspirational experience that I personally had when I visited Jesus. And it's all of your kindness that you all are inviting me again. May not be in person today, but virtually for sure. We all are very much connected. That's what is more important. And truly grateful once again to all of you for inviting me. Haribol.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much. You can start, Prabhu.
Yeah, yes. Probably there's some connectivity issue. Probably I'm probably again moving out and then again coming in. So please kindly bear with me. Today we are discussing from the Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, chapter 4, text number 29. Before that, I would just like to chant Mangalacharan prayers, and then we will speak something on this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Hare Krishna. Just wait for some time. Prabhu is going to join. So there is an internet
Tyam
connectivity issues.
Bhagavatasya Bhagavati Shloke Bhavati Naistiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah. Om Jnanatimirandasya Janashalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadameyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vande Aham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahit Namaste Taptakanchana Gaurangirade Vrindavaneshwari Vishvanusuते Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evcha Patanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim. Sorry for inconvenience. I can understand. Probably also I am not in control, and we may try our best to really connect ourselves, but it's the connectivity that will connect us. All that we can do is pray. So today we are discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 4, text number 29, a very, very important chapter from the third canto. I have made the PPT for this presentation for this class, but probably we may not have that much time to cover up slides. So I will just quickly try to share with all of you some of the very, very Krishna, am I audible?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Shri Shuka Uvacha Brahmachapad Kalena Mogavanchita Samritya Swakula Spitam Tyakshyan Deham Achintayad. Shukdev Goswami replied, "My dear king, the cursing of the Brahmanas was only a plea. The actual fact was the supreme desire of the Lord. He wanted to disappear from the face of the earth after dispatching his excessively numerous family members. He talked to himself as follows." So it's a very long purport. We won't be able to read the entire purport, but this is, we are discussing the third canto, fourth chapter. The beauty of this third canto lies in two ways. The first is this third canto speaks the variegated So beauty of the third canto lies in the variegated range of topics that it covers. And second thing is, it also, the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam also speaks about the awe-inspiring characters of the great personalities that it describes. So basically, there are myriad of topics that are discussed in the third canto. These topics right from the chapter 1 to chapter 34, 35, the third canto. This varieties of topics includes karma yoga, jnana yoga, ashtanga yoga, and also sarga, or that is primary creation, secondary creation, time. It also speaks about embryology, family life, Sankhya Yoga. It also speaks about the spiritual world in the 15th chapter of the 15th chapter of this third canto. So, like this, there are myriad of topics that are discussed in this third canto, and also there are myriad personalities, which are actually being discussed here in the third canto, right from Vidura to Maitreya to Jay and Vijay, four Kumaras, Brahmaji, Swambhu Manu, Devhuti, Kardam Muni, and Lord Kapila Dev. So this is the beauty of the third canto, where third canto has variety of topics to discuss and variety of personalities to really uh, give us a hint of what their wonderful character is all about. So today I just thought that I'll take this opportunity to discuss with all of you one such glorious character from the third canto. And this character appears again and again in practically entire Srimad Bhagavatam, but mainly in the third canto and in the 10th canto and in the 11th canto. This character is none other than Sri Uddhav ji. And especially, we are discussing the fourth canto where Uddhav is meeting Vidur, and Uddhav is actually going to tell Vidur ji that, oh, my dear Vidur, you please go and speak to Maitreya Rishi, because Maitreya Rishi was also present when Lord Krishna personally spoke to me or personally gave me the instructions. So, uh, so this chapter very much speaks about the wonderful characteristics of Uddhav ji. So I just thought that I'll speak about 6 very important qualities of Uddhav ji, which a sadhaka must try to imbibe in one's own life, and how Uddhav, Uddhav was personally a very, very intimate, constant companion of Lord Sri Krishna. In fact, Uddhavji descended into this planet Earth in this world to fulfill the mission of the Lord. In fact, one of the scriptures called Sri Harivamsha states that Uddhav is the son of Vasudev's brother, that is Deva Bhaga. There's a beautiful verse that comes in Harivamsha. Uddhavo Deva Bhagasya Mahabhaga Suto Bhavat. That means, in other words, Uddhava is the first cousin of Lord Sri Krishna. So Uddhava biologically is also very closely connected to Lord Sri Krishna, and at the same time, devotionally, Uddhava is one of the very, very intimate associate of Lord Sri Krishna. Laghu Bhagavatamrit explains the gradations about different devotees. Laghu Bhagavatamrit explains that amongst all the devotees, Prahlad Maharaj is one of the very, very highly elevated devotees, but higher than Prahlad Maharaj are the Pandavas, higher than the Pandavas are Yadavas, and among the Yadavas, the higher or highest is Uddhava. And higher than Uddhavas are the gopis of Vrindavan, and amongst the gopis is Srimati Radharani. So Laghu Bhagavatamrita explains the glorious position of Uddhav ji. Not only that, Laghu Bhagavatamrita explains that it makes a very interesting point. It states that if we keep all the Vaishnavas on one end of the scale, on one side of the scale, and we keep Prahlad Maharaj on another side of the scale. I repeat, Laghu Bhagavatamrita explains that if we keep all the Vaishnavas on one side of the scale and Prahlad Maharaj on one side, then the scale will actually match or become equal. So that's the glorious position of Prahlad Maharaj being explained in Laghu Bhagavatamrita. Why I'm saying this is because Laghu Bhagavatamrita says something more wonderful. It says that if you keep Lord Krishna on one side of the scale, I repeat, if you keep Lord Krishna on one side of the scale, and if you keep Uddhav on the other side of the scale, only Uddhav, it will balance, or the scale will become equal. So just to get the hint of what is the position of Uddhav ji in the eyes of Lord Sri Krishna. In fact, Krishna himself mentions in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam that there is no difference between myself and Uddhava. Uddhava is not at all inferior to me in any ways, because Uddhav, he is never affected by the 3 modes of material nature. So this is what Lord Krishna himself says, no Uddhavo na api manyunaha. That means Uddhava is not even slightly different from me. Why we are discussing this? Because we are discussing the glorious character of Sri Uddhav ji. So just as there were many, many demigods who appeared on this planet Earth just to assist Lord Sri Krishna in his pastime, it is mentioned that Kamadev appeared as Pradyumna, Kartikeya appeared as Samba. Similarly, one of the Vasus appeared as Uddhavji to to assist Lord Krishna in his pastime. So all these different personalities, different demigods, they came into this world while Lord Krishna, when Lord Krishna appeared, and they served Lord Krishna in different capacities to enrich the pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna. So Uddhavji uh, was a natural devotee of Lord Sri Krishna right from his very birth. In fact, Prabhupada writes in one of the purports that Uddhav is a Nitya Siddha or eternally liberated soul. And he used to serve Lord Krishna right from his childhood. He used to play with dolls of Lord Sri Krishna. This entire episode comes in third canto, second chapter. Very beautifully, the verses explains Uddhava's wonderful characteristics. So today we'll discuss 6 qualities of Uddhava, and one of the quality of Sri Uddhavji is Uddhavji was completely absorbed in serving Lord Krishna. So this is the first quality and the characteristic that a sadhaka must imbibe, must try to uh, imbibe in one's own life, the quality of being absorbed. So Uddhavji would serve dolls or the beautiful form of Lord Sri Krishna by dressing them, feeding, serving them, worshipping them. And in this way, Uddhavji was completely absorbed in serving Lord Krishna. And Prabhupada writes that these are the signs of eternally liberated soul. Who is an eternally liberated soul? Eternally liberated soul is the one who never forgets Krishna under any circumstances. Ya panchaha yano matra pratar ashaya yachita tannaicha rachayan yasya saparyam bala leelaya. So Uddhavji, when he was 5 years old, when he was a small child, his mother would call him in the morning for breakfast. But Uddhavji was so much absorbed in serving Lord Krishna that Uddhav would not even bother to attend his mother and take breakfast. He did not even wish to have breakfast. That was the absorption in which Uddhav would worship Lord Krishna. Now, generally, we see the trend that small children, they are in Annamaya Kosh. Annamaya Kosh means what? Whatever they see, whenever they see, whatever item they get it in their hand, they want to just put it in their mouth, is it not? They just want to eat anything and everything. They just put everything in their mouth. Just like Lord Krishna, he just ate dirt. No, here Uddhav, he did not even bother to eat food. Generally, kids, they consider everything as food and they want to put everything in their mouth. No, even if they have a doll in their hand, no, the small kids, today's generation, they would just put a doll also in their mouth. They see everything as their food. Like uh, today's, this, uh, there was this a small child. No, the small child was eating cashew. No, this child was eating cashew nuts, and father approached the small child, and father said, "Beta, what are you eating? No, can you also share something? Can you also give me what you are eating?" So this child offered one small cashew to his father, and father said, "Beta, with my own cash, I have purchased these cashews, and you are eating these cashews. It is How is it that you are just offering me one cashew?" So this child said, "My dear father, this one cashew, there is no difference between this one cashew and all the cashew that I am eating. All the cashews, they taste the same. So you just told me to take to give it to you, no cashew for tasting." So I just gave you the cashew for you to taste. So this is how small kids, they are more interested in eating rather than even sharing whatever they are eating. In fact, the small kids, they were asked in the school, what is the best food recommended during fasting? So the kids, they immediately replied, the best food that is recommended during fasting is fast food. Now, children's nowadays, they are so much after eating junk food or the fast food. And I'm just comparing today's generation kids with Uddhavji. When Uddhavji was just a 5-year-old, he was so much absorbed in serving Krishna, in worshiping Krishna, that Uddhav actually forgot to eat. But here we see in case of any kid. Why about today's generation? All the kids are more or less, they are in Annamay Kosh. And so that's their main focus. They just want to eat. And the second thing that the kids are more or less interested, they are interested in, are the kids are more interested in playing. They are busy playing all throughout the day. And here is Uddhavji, we see, who was busy playing, who was busy playing with Krishna in the form of dolls, in the form of Krishna's beautiful form. So, so Uddhav is absorbed. Today's kids, they are also absorbed, but they are not absorbed in Krishna. They are absorbed not in, I always say, they are not absorbed in RG. We call RG as Radha Gopinath. No, so the kids, they are absorbed, but they are not absorbed in RG, but they are absorbed in PUBG. You know what PUBG is? Now, PUBG is a very famous, well-known, uh, one of the video games. Now, uh, I'm sure many of you must have heard about this video game called PUBG. And because of this video game called PUBG, so many kids in today's day and age have got completely hooked on to playing video games. There are cases after cases. If you go on internet and find out, what was the result of these kids, who got so much hooked on to playing this video game called PUBG. Now, PUBG is PUBG, Player Unknown Battleground. That is what PUBG is. No, there are cases after cases. There was this young boy, 16-year-old young boy who was studying in his 11th, 12th standard. He got so much absorbed in playing PUBG that he actually died of cardiac arrest. Just few years back, there were these two brothers who got so much hooked up playing PUBG that they actually missed to take any meals. They forgot to take bath. No, they forgot to even go and pass water. Something that's so closely simulating Uddhava's quality of being absorbed. Of course, Uddhava was absorbed in spiritual subject matters. Today's generation, they are more absorbed in material things. But the point is, we all have the ability to stay absorbed. Where do we get absorbed ourselves is $1 million question. There was this lady in Ajman. No, this is a true story. No, in Ajman in UAE, there was this 20-year-old Arab lady who actually who actually went for divorce from her husband. Why? Because husband denied her the rights to play PUBG. So that's how people, the students, the kids, especially the younger generation, they get so much hooked up, they get so much obsessed playing some video games. No, in fact, in the year 2018 to 2019, no, there was this young boy who was arrested for killing his own mother, killing his own parents and sister, just because the parents and sister, they denied him, and they did not approve of the lifestyle that this boy was living. So this boy, he took a rented place, and along with his friends, he would just be constantly playing this video game. And just because the parents denied, this boy went up to the extent of killing his own parents and sister. Of course, this video game is now more or less banned all across. It is mainly banned in China, and this PUBG is replaced, with some anti-terrorist, themed, less violent games. So this video game turned out to be so violent, and it created such deeper impact in the lives of these small kids, that the small kids, they actually in turn became so much violent. So the point is, uh, Prab- third canto explains how Uddhavji was so much absorbed in in serving Krishna. And today's day and age, our kids are so much absorbed in playing, these video games. In fact, parents are more concerned with giving valuables rather than giving values to their child. I repeat, parents are more concerned with giving valuables in the form of gadgets, in the form of some material things, rather than giving values to their child. So, so here we learn from this beautiful episode of Uddhavji. Prabhupada writes in the purport that Prabhupada writes about himself. Prabhupada said that we were so fortunate that we were trained by our parents. We were trained by our parents to actually know. We were trained by our parents to truly uh, know what's the true value in our own life. So this is what Prabhupada mentions in this purport. So so here we see Uddhava's absorption in Krishna during his childhood, and that absorption in Krishna led to the second wonderful quality that Uddhava had. Uh, that absorption led to attachment. Now, Srimad Bhagavatam explains about Uddhava in two verses. One verse speaks about Uddhava's childhood, and the second verse speaks about Uddhava's old age. Now, Uddhava had become quite old, and in spite of Uddhava becoming old, his attachment to serving Lord Krishna never ever became slackened. That's what Bhagavatam explains. So, generally, we see in today's day and age, there are many kids, who may show some interest, or they may show some very nice devotional symptoms in their childhood days. But as they grow up, they just become completely anti Krishna conscious. They just go away from the devotional path, never to come back. So they also become attached, but they become attached to something else. So here we see in the case of Uddhava, right from his childhood days, he was absorbed in Krishna, and that absorption led to attachment to Krishna. We, probably we have a tough time maintaining a very linear graph. We have a tough time maintaining uh, a very balanced lifestyle. Here is Uddhava, who is not only Krishna conscious uh, in his early childhood days, but he's Krishna conscious all throughout. Uddhava was not a fair weather devotee. Fair weather devotee means, okay, now since everything is going good, I will perform bhakti. But if something goes wrong, then probably I will give up bhakti. No, that's not the case with Uddhava. His attachment did not decrease with the passing of years. His attachment grew more and more. So Bhagavatam explains, Sa katham sevaya tasya kalena jarasamgata prushto vartam pratibhuya drupado anusmaran. So Uddhava, when he became old, his attitude of service did not slacken. Sa katham sevaya tasya kalena jarasamgata. So although by the influence of time, Uddhava became old, but the time factor could not slacken his enthusiasm and his determination to serve the Supreme Lord. This is the beautiful quality that we see in Uddhava, a quality that we all need to actually imbibe in our life. Attachment to the service of the Lord, no matter what, come what may, we should continue to serve the Supreme Lord. So Prabhupada writes in the purport there that Uddhava, although he undoubtedly became old, but still his spirit was young. His spirit did not become old. His service attitude, in fact, fructified and became more and more mature. Generally, when we practice Krishna consciousness, we may be very enthusiastic right in the beginning, in the early days of Krishna consciousness. But as we pass number of years in Krishna consciousness, our practice becomes very much slackened. We become very much lax. We become very much complacent. So there are 7 things that actually uh, uh, goes down, and there are 11 things that goes up as we spend number of years in Krishna consciousness. I repeat, there are 7 things that goes down while we practice our bhakti, after spending many years in Krishna consciousness. And there are 11 things that goes up. What are these 7 things? They are in Hindi. Of course, I will translate that in English. What are these 7 things that actually goes down when we practice bhakti? In contrast to Uddhava's practicing bhakti, where Uddhava's uh, his enthusiasm, his service attitude did not slacken. So these 7 things that goes down is, first is utsaha, our enthusiasm to practice Krishna consciousness goes down. Second, I'm not going deep into each of these 7 items. I'm just touching upon them, just to get a clue. So the first thing that goes down is utsaha or enthusiasm. The second thing that goes down is utsukta. What is utsukta? Utsukta means eagerness, eagerness to be with devotees, eagerness to serve devotees, eagerness to chant, eagerness to read, eagerness to actually serve the deities. Now, utsukta. The first is utsaha, second is utsukta, third is saralta. Saralta is simplicity. We lose our innocence as we spend number of years in Krishna consciousness. No, so we lose simplicity. So simplicity goes down. Fourth, namrata. Namrata means humility. Many a times we should be becoming more and more humble, but instead of that, probably our ego our ego levels you know goes up. There are more ego clashes than ever before. So utsaha, utsukta, saralta, namrata, tanmayata. Tanmayata is the fifth. Tanmayata means our absorption. We become more and more distracted rather than staying absorbed. The sixth is dridta. Dridta means our determination to practice Krishna consciousness becomes slackened. And the seventh is samvedanshilta. Samvedanshilta means sensitivity. We become insensitive to other devotees' needs, interests, and concerns. In fact, all these 7 items should be going up as we spend number of years in Krishna consciousness. But unfortunately, these 7 items, utsaha, utsukta, saralta, namrata, dridta, tanmayata, samvedanshilta, they all go down. We have to work on really, you know, uh, keeping these 7 things going up. So these are the 7 things that goes down as we spend number of years in Krishna consciousness. There are 11 things that goes up. What are these 11 things that goes up? I will just touch upon each. We can really discuss in depth, in detail about all these 11 things one by one, but we do not have time to discuss all of them. So what are these 11 things that goes up? The first is we become mechanical. Our practice of Krishna consciousness becomes very much mechanical. Second is we become critical. We become critical about small things. We become critical about devotees. We don't even mind putting critical comments on social media about other devotees, unfortunately. So first is our practice becomes mechanical, we become critical, we become very much cynical. We even start doubting. We start doubting the process. Oh, this process, does it work? Does it really work, or it doesn't work? We start doubting Prabhupada's purport, and so on and so forth. So first is we become mechanical, we become critical. Third is we become cynical. Fourth, we become very casual. We don't mind uh you know we don't mind saying to others, oh, it's okay, just chillax, just relax. If I eat onion and garlic, if I drink tea and coffee, or if I watch some adult movie once in a while, what's wrong? Just chillax. We become so casual about no these important details. So this is the fourth thing that goes up. Fifth is we become over emotional, or we become too much mental or sentimental. Some devotees, they tell us something for our good, and no, we take it so much personally, and we get so much emotional that we get stuck up there and there itself. We can't think some more about. We can't think of going deeper into our Krishna consciousness, but we probably start fantasizing and start having wrong probably start having wrong uh, type of feelings and negativity towards that devotee. So we become too much over emotional about many things in Krishna consciousness. Oh, this devotee spoke this to me, how can he or she behave like this to me? I am such a senior person. So so I'm just this is the general trend, this is which is seen. I'm not targeting anyone, I'm just speaking this based on my observation. So first is we become mechanical, we become critical, we become cynical, we become casual, we become over emotional. Sixth is we become artificial or very superficial in our practice. In a way, we just probably, just because now that I have spent number of years in Krishna consciousness, and now that I'm senior, I have to show that I am a senior devotee, which when in reality it's something else altogether. So probably we become too much superficial or artificial in our behavior, in our practice, in our entire presentation of Krishna consciousness. That is sixth. Seventh is betrayal. We start getting the feeling of being betrayed. No, I did so much selfless service in Srila Prabhupada's movement, but still I am mistreated, I am misunderstood, I am misrepresented. So these are the feelings of betrayal that a person gets after spending few years in Krishna consciousness. Unfortunately, then we become too much political also many a times, unfortunately, where there should not be any politics involved, especially when we are dealing with devotees, when we are managing. But we also tend to become political. We become impractical. The next is we become impractical in the name of you know uh, in the name of practicing Krishna consciousness. Many times we we tend to be less practical and more being impractical. Then we become impersonal. Our dealings with other devotees becomes very much impersonal, which is which is one of the powerful enemy enemies of devotional service. So our dealings becomes impersonal. Our attitudes towards other becomes impersonal. And the last but not the least, we become non-functional. No, our desire to serve others, our desire to serve Srila Prabhupada's movement goes down. We lose interest in the process. I'm just discussing this because these things are practically happening, unfortunately. And ultimately we start doubting the process. So these are the 11 things that goes up and 7 things that goes down. Why we are discussing this? Because we are discussing uh, this point, this wonderful quality of Uddhava, where Uddhava, although number of years went by, Uddhava's attachment for serving Krishna did not deteriorate. In fact, his enthusiasm and his service attitude continued, and it became more and more concrete. So, and if we compare Uddhava's life with the life of great personalities like Srila Prabhupada or the life of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, Bhagavatam explains that Uddhava became old, but his service towards Krishna did not deteriorate. Similarly, we see in the life of Srila Prabhupada, what was the age of Prabhupada when Prabhupada went to West? What was the age of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami when he wrote Chaitanya Charitamrita? Prabhupada was 70 plus when he went to America. No, and Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami was 95 years old when he wrote Chaitanya Charitamrita. Ami vriddha jaratura likhite ka paya kara mana kichu smarana na hoya na dekhiya nayane na shuniya shravane tabu likhi ei bada vismaya. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami himself writes in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Ami vriddha jaratura, I am already an old man, a layman. I am already being covered up by jara. Jara means old age. And likhite kapaya kara. Kara means hands. And when I'm trying to write Chaitanya Charitamrita, my hands are shivering. Mana kichu smarana na hoya. My mind does not remember anything. I cannot see with my eyes. I cannot hear anything with my ears. But the very fact that I am able to still write Chaitanya Charitamrita, that itself is Ei Bada Vismay, Tabe Likhi Ei Bada Vismay. It's such a wonder that I'm still able to write Chaitanya Charitamrita. So that was the state in which Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami wrote Chaitanya Charitamrita. He was 95 years old. Prabhupada was 70 years old. Now, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, when he says, Mana kichu smarana na hoy, I cannot remember anything. Although he's saying this, still he ended up writing the entire Chaitanya Charitamrita. Adi Leela, Madhya Leela, Antya Leela. Adi Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita contains 17 chapters. Madhya Leela contains 25 chapters. Antya Leela contains 21 chapters. In all, Chaitanya Charitamrita has more than 6,000 verses. So the point is, they all had unlimited reasons. Prabhupada, whether it's Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, whether it's Uddhava, they had unlimited reasons to say no to their services. Srila Prabhupada could have just stayed in Vrindavan. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami could have just stayed in Bengal. But Prabhupada traveled from Vrindavan to West. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami traveled from Bengal to Vrindavan just so that he could write Chaitanya Charitamrita. Now, if we compare our position, our status, we all have strength at this point of time. We all have ability. We all have capacity. We all have facility. we all have the opportunity to serve. But unfortunately, we do not have the strong desire to serve. Prabhupada did not have the resources, the strength, probably the facilities, the opportunity to preach, but still Prabhupada could achieve so much. Why? Because Prabhupada had that unlimited or unflinching desire to continue serving in spite of all the barriers, in spite of all the challenges. So, what's lacking? A wonderful lesson for all of us to learn is what's lacking in today's generation is not the resources, not the ability or the facility. What's lacking is the strong faith and the strong desire to serve Krishna. Prabhupada had these two things more than anything else. And that's the reason Prabhupada was empowered to do Herculean task. So that was the case with Uddhava also. Although Uddhava became old, still his spirit was young. So why? Because of his attachment towards serving Krishna. Attachment did not go down. So we have just seen two qualities of Uddhava. One is absorption in Krishna. Second is attachment for serving Krishna. I'll just probably, I just have 10 minutes more to go. I'll just speak on one more very important quality that Uddhava exhibits. That is the mood of sacrifice. Now it's quite interesting that Uddhava was very much attached to serving Krishna. Now, when we are attached to something, when that object is taken away from us, there is a severe pain that we experience. So the pain of separation is worst to bear, is it not? So if more we are attached to anything material, more it is painful to bear the separation from. Now, Uddhava was very much attached to serving Krishna. Uddhava was personally present just before Lord Krishna departed from this planet Earth. And Uddhav had to witness the disappearance of the Lord. Something that Uddhava could not bear separation from, ever. So his feelings of separation, Uddhava's feelings of separation from Lord Krishna were very much in crescendo when Uddhava saw that Lord Krishna has disappeared. And just at that moment, Vidura comes and approaches Uddhav. Vidura came and met Uddhavji, and Vidura is asking Uddhavji about Lord Krishna. So that's what the third canto, second chapter, third chapter, fourth chapter is all about. Now, interestingly, when Vidura approached Uddhav, Uddhav was unable to speak. Uddhav was unable to speak anything because he was just immersed in separation from Lord Krishna. Tears were gliding down from his eyes. Now, when Uddhava was unable to speak, but as soon as he was reminded of Krishna by Vidura, Uddhav started meditating and remembering all the wonderful pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna. So that's what the third canto, second chapter is all about. Third canto, second chapter gives us the glimpse of the 10th canto. So the entire 10th canto is practically spoken by Uddhav just in one chapter. A synopsis of the 10th canto is given to all of us in the third canto, second chapter. So Uddhav started remembering all the pastimes of the Lord. And as soon as he started remembering the pastimes of the Lord, he started experiencing deeper and deeper absorption in Krishna. And what was the result of absorption? he started experiencing ecstatic symptoms in his body. So absorption led to attachment, and attachment led to ecstasy. So, so attachment led to ecstasy, where he started developing, experiencing ecstatic symptoms. Basically, Astasatvika Vikar. And when Uddhava started experiencing those Astasatvika Vikar, he just completely got lost. Vidura is standing right in front of him, and Vidura is observing those Astasatvika Vikar manifesting in the body, of Uddhava. Pulako bid sarvango munchen mila drishashucha purnartho lakshitastena sneha prashara samplutah. Pulaka udbhinna sarvango, his body started experiencing pulaka, ashru, sweda, kampa, different types of ecstatic symptoms. So Vidura realized that Uddhava truly had love for Krishna. Now, immediately after this verse, it is explained, Shanakir Bhagavan Lokan Brilokam Punaragata. Uddhava, although Shanakir Bhagavan Loka, Uddhava actually went in trance. Uddhava actually got transported into the spiritual world. But Nrilokam Punaragata, he again came back from the abode of the Lord to the human plane. He just came back to the earthly planet, and he started wiping his tears. And he realized that he's supposed to answer to the questions that were raised by Vidura. Now, this is very, very interesting. We are discussing the third quality of Uddhava, where Uddhava demonstrates or exhibits the mood of sacrifice. What is Uddhava sacrificing? Uddhava is sacrificing those ecstatic moments for the service to Vidura. Uddhava had this responsibility of rendering service to Vidura, as a result of which Uddhava actually sacrificed those ecstatic moments, and he came back to the human plane and he started speaking to Uddhava. Now, what do we learn from this? Very interesting phenomena. One time, His Grace Jananiwas Prabhu, he made a very profound statement. He said that sometimes a devotee has to become Krishna unconscious for the sake of others' Krishna consciousness. I repeat, Jananiwas Prabhu made the statement that sometimes we have to become Krishna unconscious for the sake of others' Krishna consciousness. That means we as devotees many times may have to give up our ecstatic moments of Krishna consciousness in order to increase and help others become Krishna conscious. So Vidura was waiting to hear about Krishna from Uddhav, and in order to increase the Krishna consciousness of Vidura, Uddhav gave up his moment of ecstasy. Now, in our case, probably we may not go in that trance while we are practicing Krishna consciousness. We may not experience those ecstatic moments, but probably we may be busy in probably busy in serving we may have a lot of services, and because of our services we may have to probably give up those ecstatic moments and help others to come closer to Krishna. Say, for example, during festival days, we may have a lot of services, managerial services, where we may have to give up those ecstatic moments of witnessing the Abhishek live, or we may have to give up those ecstatic moments of hearing from a senior Vaishnava who comes and speaks. So we may have to even give up our hearing and chanting. But for what? so that we can facilitate increasing others' Krishna consciousness. We may have to give up kirtan. Why? Because there are so many services. So when we are into management is such a thankless task where you have to keep sacrificing your own energy, your own time, sacrifice even hearing and chanting, so that our management will facilitate others coming closer to Krishna conscious, others coming to Krishna consciousness. And in spite of doing so much management, still no, we get heavy critical feedbacks. People may not even be happy with our decisions. People may even hate us, curse us. But still, we may have to take up that responsibility and that anxiety of giving up our own Krishna consciousness in a way that we may have to become Krishna unconscious so that we can share Krishna consciousness with others. But what is important is many a times, even though we may have to give up those momentary ecstatic experiences in serving others, if we are sincere, if we are probably, if we are really doing service in the right spirit and the right attitude, then apparently we may be Krishna unconscious, but still it will deepen our Krishna consciousness more and more. That's very interesting. So do not ever think that management, I don't want to do management because no, probably that's no, that takes me away from experiencing those ecstatic moments. In fact, there is one beautiful Giriraj Maharaj writes this story, shares this story in his book. One time, Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he was so much busy in serving and preaching, and he was so busy in management that he approached Prabhupada and he told Prabhupada, I am not able to chant my rounds. Prabhupada became very grave, and Prabhupada said, even my chanting is disturbed when I have to manage this entire society of Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada could have just been in Vrindavan. Prabhupada could have experienced those ecstatic symptoms. Prabhupada could have experienced those ecstatic moments by being in Vrindavan. But Prabhupada decided to go to West so that he could increase Krishna consciousness of others. Similarly, we see in case of Uddhava, he came out, he sacrificed his ecstatic moments so that he could increase the ecstatic, uh, he could actually increase the Krishna consciousness of Vidura. In fact, one time, Giriraj Maharaj, he arranged a meeting of Srila Prabhupada with one of a very, very prominent citizen of India, Raj Gopalachari. Now, this Raj Gopalachari, he was, he was the first chief executive of independent India, and he was the author of the well-known English translation of Mahabharata. This personality was 93 years old, and he had a great respect for Srila Prabhupada. When he met Srila Prabhupada, he asked this question to Srila Prabhupada, Swamiji, no, uh, what if the members of ISKCON identify more with the institution instead of Lord Govinda? That means the people who are serving this institution, they become so much absorbed and they become so much uh, lost in serving the institution that that they forget Krishna, they forget Lord Govinda. Will they? So this person is asking, if the members in ISKCON society identify with the institution more than identifying with Krishna, will they not assume the false identity? Prabhupada gave a brilliant and a profound reply. Prabhupada said, on the absolute platform, there is no difference between Govinda and Govinda's institution. That means there is no difference between serving Lord Krishna and serving Lord Krishna's institution, that is ISKCON. Or there is no difference between serving Prabhupada and serving ISKCON. So the point is, many a times, we may just want to stay away from management. But if we are doing it sincerely with the right spirit and the right attitude, we will become, we will come closer and closer to Krishna, because there is no difference between serving Krishna and serving Krishna's institution. And here, Uddhav, he exhibited this mood of sacrifice by understanding that for me it is more important to increase Vidurji's Krishna consciousness. And that's why he came out of, he actually came down from the spiritual world, back to the material realm. So this is one quality that we can actually see in Uddhava. I'll just speak this last quality about Uddhava, how Uddhava is a very trusted devotee of Lord Krishna. So this quality of trustworthiness comes very strikingly within Srimad Bhagavatam, which a disciple must actually also try to imbibe in his or her own life. The quality of being trustworthy. So Uddhava is a very trustworthy devotee. No, there are two things. There are two types of devotees: faithful devotee and trusted devotees. Now, faithful devotee is he or she. No, faithful devotee is one who has faith in Lord Krishna or who has faith in spiritual master. That's a faithful devotee. So, faithful devotee is one who has faith in Krishna and who has faith in Lord and faith in the spiritual master. But it may not be other way around. What is other way around? Other way around means I may have faith in spiritual master, but probably spiritual master may not have faith in me. Spiritual master may not have faith in his disciple, in the sense that spiritual master may not have faith that this disciple, if I give him or her some service, will this disciple do this service properly or not. So that's a faithful devotee. A faithful devotee is one who has faith in Krishna or spiritual master, but it may not be other way around. But what do you mean by a trusted devotee? A trusted devotee is one who doesn't only have faith in Lord and Krishna, Lord and spiritual master, but even Lord and spiritual master has a lot of faith and trust in that devotee. So that's a that's a trustworthy devotee. And Krishna imparted Uddhava. The very fact that Lord Krishna chose Uddhava to go to Vrindavan to pacify the Brajvasis, the very fact that Krishna chose Uddhava to go to Badrikashram after he departs, the very fact that Krishna said that Uddhava is non-different from me, and the very fact that Krishna imparted the final instructions to Uddhava proves beyond doubt that Uddhava is the most trustworthy devotee of Lord Krishna. So when Krishna, when Krishna, he actually is imparting the final instructions to Uddhava, Maitreya Rishi was also there. But Krishna, he was more focused on giving these instructions to Uddhava than to even Maitreya. So this is one of the very, very important qualities. When we come in close contact of spiritual master, we get a lot of mercy, but we also get heavy responsibilities. Just as Uddhava was very one of the close companion of Lord Krishna, but Uddhava also received a very, very heavy responsibilities by Lord Krishna. And that's the testing time of a disciple. Can we really prove ourselves to be trustworthy? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he sent Nityanand Prabhu to Bengal. He told Nityanand Prabhu to go and preach in Bengal. Now, who would want to give up the association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and go to Bengal? But just because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew that Nityanand Prabhu is a trustworthy disciple and a companion of mine, he ordered Nityanand Prabhu to go to Bengal and preach. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he told Rupa Goswami, he ordered Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami to go to Vrindavan. Now, Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami, they were longing to be with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. As soon as they met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami, they were instructed to go to Vrindavan, never to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Gadadhar Pandit to stay in Puri and continue serving. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he ordered Srila Prabhupada to go and preach in America. Or Prabhupada, he told his trustworthy disciples like His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj or His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj to stay in Mayapur and preach, stay in Bengal and preach. And no, he told Tamal Krishna Maharaj to go to China and preach. It was such a difficult task, but they proved themselves to be trustworthy. So this quality of being trustworthy is very, very important. Krishna, when he went back home, back to Godhead, he actually ordered, no, he actually took all of his associates back home, back to Godhead, except for one person. Who was that one person? That was Uddhava. Now that was very devastating for Uddhava as well. Who would want to stay away from the Lord? Uddhava had always been in association of the Lord. And here is Lord telling Uddhava, Uddhava, you stay back. I will take everyone else except you back home, back to Godhead. And Uddhava has been given this task. Uddhava is being ordered to go to Badrika Ashram and give his association to the sages of Badrika Ashram. Now, Uddhava never wanted to stay away from Krishna. What to speak of staying in this material world in absence of Lord Krishna? But Krishna had faith in Uddhava that he will pacify the sages of Badrika Ashram. So the very fact that Lord Krishna sent Uddhava to Vrindavan also. Now, Vrindavan is so close to the heart of Krishna, and that too, Brajvasis are the heart of Krishna. And out of all the residents of Dwarka, Krishna chose Uddhava to go and pacify. So, to win trust is not easy. Trustworthiness is shown not through words but through action. And trust takes years to build, but it just takes moment to break and forever to repair. So the point is, this is one of the important quality that is exhibited by Uddhava, where he actually proved himself to be trustworthy in serving Lord Krishna's mission. And we also have to pray to Lord Krishna to actually so that we can also become trustworthy, and we can also become an instrument in the hands of our spiritual master. And we do not betray, we do not disappoint our gurus, our parampara, and we stay loyal to the parampara. So this is one more quality that we see in the life of Uddhava. Of course, there are few others. We do not have time. The time is already up. I have overboarded in terms of time, but I would like to end here, and I would like to seek again forgiveness and apologies for speaking something that's beyond my capacity and my realization to speak. Thank you all very much for your kind patience and hearing. I wish to thank once again all the organizers of Gauranga Desh for inviting me this evening and giving me a chance to speak and glorify Krishna. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Granthrat Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Samaveda Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you so
Hari
much
Bol.
for your wonderful and nectarian class. Yes, what you mentioned is very clear. You have mentioned that if we have desire to perform our devotional activities to please Guru and Krishna, definitely Krishna will fulfill, even though we are old. Thank you. Thank you so much for highlighting the wonderful nectarian class. And definitely we missed your Kirtan. Definitely we will catch up with you. And we need a Kirtan session because many of the devotees are very much anticipated to witness your Kirtan actually. So definitely we will come up with more and more classes with you. Prabhu, if time permits, you can ask few questions actually.
Okay, I can take one question because I heard that probably you all have some another commitment after this. So I'll just probably just take one question. I also have some other commitments, so probably I just lined up things accordingly. But definitely,
Sure.
if someone has any question, they can ask.
Yes, there is one question I mentioned in the chat box. My question to Prabhuji is, Uddhavaji went to spiritual planet and returned again. I didn't understand this, Prabhuji. Can you brief?
Okay, so basically this verse comes in the third canto. I will just give you the reference to this verse. This is third canto, second chapter, verse number fourth or fifth, where it is explained that when Uddhava, who was so much feeling separation from Lord Sri Krishna, when Vidura approached him and asked Uddhava to speak about Lord Krishna, then at that point of time, Vidura was actually feeling separation from Lord. And when he was reminded of Krishna, that remembrance triggered Uddhava's remembrance about Lord Sri Krishna. So when Uddhava started remembering, he started recollecting all the pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna, to the extent that Uddhava, he was unable to speak, but he started remembering those pastimes, and remembering those pastimes, Uddhava again went into deeper ecstasy. So it is explained in Bhagavatam that Shanakair Bhagavan Lokan, that Uddhava actually went, he was physically here, but he was actually in the spiritual realm. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he tells in his commentary that Krishna actually entered into the heart of Uddhava, and Krishna reminded Uddhava that, my dear Uddhava, you go back to the spirit, you go back to the material realm. That means you open your eyes and you have to do the service of speaking Krishna Katha on my behalf. So this is what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, that Krishna actually told Uddhava to come back to the material world or material realm. So Prabhupada writes in the purport that devotees of the Lord, they may be physically in this material world, but they are in the spiritual realm. Why? Because they are constantly absorbed in remembering and chanting the wonderful, glorious pastimes of Lord Sri Hari. So that's the point that Shukdev Goswami is making here, that he was physically there, but he was at the spiritual level, he was completely, at the devotional level, he was completely in the spiritual realm. That's what is explained. Is that okay?
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
So,
any other question?
Request Samir Prabhu. You have some question, I think. You raise your hand.
Hare Krishna, Purushottam Prabhuji.
Hari Bol, Samir Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu, I can hear you.
Prabhuji,
Hare Krishna.
You have answered all my questions. today only I was having so many questions in my mind, and I just prayed to my Guru because it was, I would have collapsed otherwise.
Oh, please.
What answers I wanted, it has come through this class. Prabhuji, when I meet you in person, I will tell you this is the answer I got to all my questions.
Oh,
All my
Krishna.
questions. Entirely. From the bottom of my heart. Sri Radha Gopinath is the Sakshi for this. I got
Hare Krishna.
all my answers. Trust me. Thank you so much. And I really thank Kajal Mataji for posting this. Otherwise, and you will not believe, I didn't do my Sandhya Puja and I was sitting for Srimad Bhagavatam. I told Meghna, you do it today. I'm not interested in doing puja today in Sandhya Puja. I don't know why. Otherwise, never miss my Sandhya Puja.
Thank you for attending
I'm
class
so
and
indebted. Yeah. And my request is to all the hosts, and please regularly, please continue this regularly. Prabhuji, please spare some time. My humble request. Whenever
yes,
you feel
Prabhu.
like, because this is amazing. This class is like, there's no words to explain this class, Prabhuji, for me at least. I am so indebted to you now.
Thanks to Ranga Krishna Prabhu for inviting me and giving me an opportunity to speak something, although I'm quite unqualified.
Yeah, no, Prabhuji, and I really thank all the organizers. Thank you so much. I don't know their names, but I really, please accept my Dandvat Pranam to all the organizers.
Hare Krishna.
This was transcendently enlightening.
Hare. Thank you, Ranga Krishna Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for
Thank you very much.
because you have a very busy schedule. Irrespective of your busy schedule, you joined with us, accepting our invitation and came today. And a wonderful session today. I know many devotees have need more questions and expecting from you. So the time is constrained, and
yes, Prabhu.
We are expecting more and more programs in future. Actually,
thank you. At your service, I will try my best to serve you in some small way.
With your permission, shall I ask all the devotees to put on their video? At least you can able to see all the devotees at least.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Then Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, in only one question, do you have time for that, Prabhu?
Ranga Krishna Prabhu can decide.
Yes, Prabhu, please.
Prabhu, you said 11 things going up. I have noted that mechanical, critical, cynical, casual, over emotional, artificial, betrayal, impractical, impersonal, functional. There are 10, Prabhu. One more thing, what is that?
Political.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hari Bol. Thank you.
Hari Bol, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much for inviting us.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu ki
Jai.
His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj ki
Jai.
ki
Jai.
Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Thank you once again, Purushottam Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So now we have Sandhya Arati. Adhikapati Prabhu, can you organize?
Yes. Srinivasan Prabhu is there and on the Arati.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. You can see it now, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji, we can see. Can you start, Prabhu? Yes, you can start the Sandhya Arati.
Okay, Prabhu.
नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिधि नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी भाषज्ञादिशधारिणे नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी आद्यज्ञादिशधारिणे जय दुराचन्दे आरति शोभा शिव जय दुराचन्दे आरति शोभा Thank you. Hare Hari Hari Bol.
जय ओम विष्णुपाद परिवराचार्य सो ससदम अभय चंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परिवराचार्य सो ससद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई महाराज प्रभुपाद की जय। नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपिनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की जय। गंगा माई की जय, यमुना माई की जय, मधुरा धाम की जय, वृंदावन धाम की जय, नवदीप धाम की जय, मायापुर धाम की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, तुलसी देवी की जय, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद भागवतम की जय, सामवेद भक्त वृंद की जय, अनंतकोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय, हरिनाम संकीर्तनम की जय। All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Now we have Blessing Aarti. So request Devanshi. Yes. you can start.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
जय प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Devanshi, for your wonderful kirtan. Thank you so much. Okay, we have very quick announcements. Every week we are praying for the good health of His Holiness Jayapataki Swami Maharaj, and also for his well-being. And also we need prayers for His Holiness Bhakti Purushottam Swami Maharaj, His Holiness Bhakti Vigna Vinash Swami Maharaj, His Grace Pankajangari Prabhu, His Grace Ishwara Prabhu, His Grace Samba Prabhu, and his all family members are all affected by COVID. And few other devotees, we don't know